This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Broadcasting from the state-of-the-art L-shaped studios at beautiful and serene Ho-Ho-Loon Plaza in Vancouver, British Columbia. Greg Phillips and Nick Duke are the Hard-Traveling Fanboys.
Hard-Traveling Fanboys! Hard-Traveling Fanboys! Hard-Traveling Fanboys! Hard-Traveling Fanboys! Hard-Traveling Fanboys! Hard-Traveling Fanboys!
Hard-Traveling Fanboys! Nick, is there something in the air here in the L-shaped studio in Ho-Ho-Loon Plaza in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada?
I just
can't stop sniffing.
I don't know. It's been a hard couple of days on the old nasal passages, as they say.
It has, but welcome, by the way, to the very first episode of the Hard-Traveling Fanboys here in the new year. We hope you all had a wonderful holiday season, Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year, all of that good stuff. Hope you had a great one. We are here tonight with an episode of a little segment we call Off the Page, where we look at comic book properties outside of the books themselves. But before we get to that, we just can't stop sniffling. I don't know what the problem is.
Oh, here you are trying to get people's goats again.
Well, that's not for, it's not for me to say one way or the other. What,
quite frankly,
areas of the country might be prepping for big sporting events that other areas of the country are excluded from.
That's bad. That's bad for sports, Greg. It's bad for sports when you have two teams from the same geographical region playing each other.
Exactly. Unless that geographical region is the Northeast.
The Northeast, yeah. Then it's good for sports. But otherwise, it's bad for sports. And you would do well to remember that.
What you're saying is that the SEC is garbage.
Garbage. No, I'm saying SEC = garbage.
Garbage. It's like Mean Gene Okerlund telling Dean Malenko that he, sir, was a loser.
And I'm a little concerned about the state, the smell, the appearance right now of old at JR's BBQ podcasting studio. I think there is a concern that he may have done something unfortunate to his podcasting studio. It's just one of those things. There have been some alarming reports of doo-doo in the Norman area. Doo-doo, seeping out of the Norman area.
Not a good smell or scent for the area, but nonetheless, it's been a good holiday season for the Hard-Traveling Fanboys. It really has. We have a lot to be thankful for here in the new year. And regardless of what may happen in a few days from now, or more likely in the past when you're listening to this, what would have happened? It's been a good holiday season. The new year is rolling around, new beginnings. Things are fresh in the air. And with new beginnings, it's important to look back at the past. Because as you know, Nick, despite our present global climate, it is true that those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it. And before Christopher Nolan came along in 2005 to reinvigorate and reinvent the Batman mythos for a new millennium, a new audience with Batman Begins, there was a dearth of content on The Dark Knight for years before that. We had not had a Batman movie for 7 years before that, which is kind of surprising given the overwhelming popularity of Batman as the 20th century came to a close as a character. But one movie sort of represented the jumping off point for Warner Brothers Pictures with the Batman franchise and did so much damage that it took almost a decade to bring the character back into prominence worldwide with Batman Begins. That film, ladies and gentlemen, is what we are here to discuss. And it's a little ditty about Bruce and Dick, two American kids, and I can't come up with anything to rhyme with that, Nick.
No, you can't.
Although technically Nick rhymes with Dick, so it worked out in the end. We're here to talk about Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin. By Joel Schumacher. This was a follow-up to his 1995 anti-classic, Batman Forever.
Which we've already reviewed on these very airwaves.
Absolutely. And if you're wanting to go through the archives and listen to that, feel free. You'll hear our analysis of why that film just does not hold up at all. It's a mess in and of its own self. But Batman and Robin came along in '98 and had a lot of hype going into it. Had an all-star cast, as we'll get into later on the show, and a decent-sized budget to it as well. And ultimately left the franchise wallowing in the muck for quite some time after. And we'll get into the talk about that, why that was, ultimately why the movie left so many people feeling deflated, and also about maybe where it stands in the Batman pantheon, and is it really as bad as has been said? We'll get into that in a little bit. But first, before we get into all of that, Nick, what can you tell people about your hard-traveling holiday?
Oh, it was pretty decent holiday, had a nice little Christmas there. Had with the family, with the girls and stuff. That was pretty good. And then the New Year came, and it was fair, decent, not too shabby. Watched a little, ate a little food, drank a little drink, and watched a little football on television that had a somewhat decent outcome, quite frankly.
Yes, very similar. Yours was to mine, minus the girls and whatnot. I did spend time with my family and had good family time over the Christmas break, and then I had some good fun back in my old hometown, and got back to my home of Dothan, Alabama, just in time to settle in and watch a day of very satisfying football action. It was good. Some good things happened that I enjoyed a lot. Things at the nighttime that happened, and also something during the daytime happened that I liked quite a bit over closer to your neck of the woods, Nick, near Atlanta. Something happened very good there too. So it was all good things on New Year's Day. Good way to start off 2018.
It just ain't right, Greg. They beat the two teams playing for the national championship. They ought to have a chance.
But Gus Buzz, I'm so sick of the Gus Buzz. Throw his ass out.
I love him.
For now, next week you'll hate him, just like I do. Oh, good stuff. Now, back to more internationally relevant topics. We're going to start Batman and Robin. And one of the things we do in Off the Page, as we do with Hard Travelers for Hire, is we like to watch along with the audience, if possible. So we're not going to watch the entire movie. It's a 2-hour movie. We're not going to do that. What we are going to do is we're going to use it as the visual equivalent of background noise to kind of remind us of things here and there, to kind of guide the conversation along. And when we feel it's appropriate, we'll cut the conversation off. But what we want to do is give you the opportunity right now to pull out your DVD or Blu-ray if you have it, or pull up Netflix. It's actually streaming on Netflix. That's how I'm watching it right now. You can pull up Netflix and pull up Batman and Robin. I am currently paused at 0001 on my movie here on Netflix, and we're gonna watch along with it. We invite you to watch with us as we guide along the conversation and kind of bob and weave our way through a conversation about a film that has quite the complicated. Maybe not complicated. That's probably not the right word to describe this film at all, but a very negative legacy to it. So we'll get into that, and I'm going to give you guys a chance now to pause and pull up your movie to stream or to watch. And hopefully you just did that. And we are going to hit play in 3, 2, 1, play. And there's the iconic Warner Brothers Pictures logo. Quite some time before it would gain the reputation from comic book fans as a studio that is full of shit.
Oh, and immediately we see it turn into the Batman symbol, which is covered in ice.
Now, can I say something? This is a pretty badass opening sequence, I think.
Yeah,
I kind of dig this credit sequence.
Oh, that was kind of cool. Yeah, the ice breaking.
Yeah, the ice breaking, and it turns red.
The words flying by the screen. Such a thing to do back then.
Yeah, I think this is really cool. It's not quite as cool and as revolutionary as the X-Men opening credits, if you remember, the Bryan Singer thing where it took you through like the human body or whatever. That was pretty revolutionary at the time. But this is, I think, really cool. I dig the logo, the Nightwing logo, kind of superimposed with the Batman logo. Mm-hmm. Very cool. I mean, this is getting off to a good start. Maybe this movie's not so bad after all, Nick.
The Nightwing logo that you're going to call it the Nightwing logo, even though they use it as a Robin logo in the film for some reason.
Right, and they basically give him the closest thing we've ever gotten to this.
There's bat nipples.
What in the hell is happening?
And bat ass. And bat cod. And Robin ass. And Robin cod.
Ass.
Look at this. Wow,
Bruce Wayne is one hot piece of ace.
We are off to a rip-roaring start here. Oh, man. Joel Schumacher just hit you with it right there off the top.
I mean, close-up shot of like, and you know what? If that was George Clooney and or Chris O'Donnell's actual ass, more power to him, because it reminded me of Sexy Flanders from Simpsons with his tight ski outfit.
It had
anything
quite a bit
at all.
Had quite a bit of jiggle to it. It was very strange.
Jiggle, I know. It was like a bubble butt.
Here's one thing I think we'll probably disagree on here. I am not a fan of this Batmobile design that we're seeing early on.
Oh God, no.
Okay.
No.
I remember Batman Forever.
No.
You kind of defended that design, and I didn't like that one either.
Yeah, well, it was different. This is different than one in Batman Forever.
Yes, it is. I'm saying
Isn't it?
I didn't like that one either. I like neither of them.
Yes, I like the Batman Forever one. I don't like this one. This one looks horrible. Plus, there's only one seat.
There's Michael Gough, who hasn't aged in, 10 years.
The only consistency in these 4 movies, right? The only consistency in all the Burton and Schumacher movies is
Pat Hingle as Commissioner Gordon in his very...
I didn't remember if he was in this movie.
He is, in a very small role.
Well, Gordon plays a very small role in all of these movies.
Why does Robin's motorcycle have to live inside this weird casket-looking thing?
I don't know. It's the most decadent Batcave we've ever seen, right?
It is very over the top.
You have to assume that Bruce is pumping smoke into this Batcave just to make it look cooler.
See, this is a Batcave that
there's smoke everywhere.
That the giant Penny and the T-Rex would not have felt out of place in. Oh God!
Oh no, the giant Penny and the T-Rex are probably up underneath where all the smoke is coming from.
There's Commissioner Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
There he is on the bat.
Do you know
what
these movies needed is Chief? These movies needed Chief O'Hara.
Especially by this point, because as we'll discuss here, my whole thing with this film is I think it's essentially Joel Schumacher doing a giant Adam West homage. And if you're going to do that, why not bring in Chief O'Hara? Hell, bring in Aunt Harriet.
Harriet. They could have even had her played by Harriet from Family Matters.
Oh, and then had Alfred recast as Reginald Vell Johnson.
Yes! Yes! Reginald Vell Johnson could have saved the franchise.
Oh, and here we go, Greg.
Yeah. A very bold choice, by the way, to just have Mr. Freeze be himself already, right?
Yes,
like our first introduction. They do the same thing with Two-Face in Forever, if you remember. Where if you remember in Batman and Batman Returns, we see the origins of Joker, Catwoman, and Penguin, as Burton imagines them. In Forever and Robin, Joel Schumacher takes the approach of showing us the villains formed out of the gate, at least half of the villains. We see the Riddler and Two-Face in Batman Forever, and he's already Two-Face at the beginning of the movie. And here we already see Mr. Freeze as he in diamonds and making ice puns. Right. Which reminds me that I need to turn on my closed captioning.
Right. Yeah, we do see both of those villains fully formed, but we also see flashbacks to their origin via video screen. I think they showed some news footage of Two-Face and Batman Forever, and some a security cam footage of Freeze in this one. And Batman just slid down a brontosaurus, and this is...
You are not sending me to the cooler.
See, that's an aspect of the film that I actually really like that a lot of people don't, is the cheesy Arnold
ice
puns of this.
Yeah,
I mean, Arnold
the ice puns are funny. They're like the one thing that I can take out of this movie is at least Arnold is treating it as the joke that it is.
Yeah, and chewing scenery and stuff, and just kind of hamming it up and having fun. And I'm good with that. Kill the heroes. I love it. Greg. Oh. And here are these guys doing their thing.
Do it.
Oh. Kids love ice skating, apparently.
I don't know if I'm in the right spot. What's your number that you're at in the minutes? I got messed up by my subtitle thing on Netflix.
I have no idea. Let's see. 6:22.
So I actually somehow ended up ahead of you.
Yep. It's the hockey team from hell. There you are. So yeah, this is certainly an interesting opening. Kind of like Batman Forever, hitting the ground running with an action sequence rather than burying the lead at all. And I will say I don't think this is as effective an opening as the opening from Batman Forever, which was a little better in my opinion.
Agreed. Yeah, I definitely agree. This, God Almighty, the ice skates and the boots.
Yeah, you're way ahead of me. Yeah, this is brutal. This is actually though very much like an action scene from the 60s show. Yes, very
and
much.
That the villains are in circles and you knock one down and they all fall down,
Yes.
It just
why
he just threw that man up to the ceiling.
Why not just give it the Biff Wham Pow effects? I mean, if this is what you're going to go for.
There's no reason not to, quite frankly.
You know what's crazy is the studio is so sure about this one that they rushed it into production to try and capitalize on the financial success of Batman Forever, and this is what we get as a result.
Now, why didn't Val Kilmer come back for this?
No idea. I think possibly because of that. They wanted to rush into production, and Kilmer wasn't available, so they recast.
One of the great lines in Batman history. What killed the dinosaurs?
The Ice
Age!
The Ice Age! Yes, this is good. I will say, shockingly, the effects on the freeze gun aren't that bad.
No, they're not. They hold up. They hold up pretty well for 90s effects. Certainly a world of difference between the effects in this and the effects in the Spawn movie that we reviewed last year.
That Spawn movie was certainly a unique situation.
Yes, probably a better movie than this, but the effects weren't as good.
Tough to say. I can find some things to enjoy in this one because of how bad it is, whereas Spawn is just mostly unentertaining level of bad for large chunks of it.
True. At least it has Leguizamo as the fat clown man.
And there's Robin pole vaulting.
Pole vaulting. Which, if you believe some of the theories, happened a lot in Wayne Manor.
Oh, now, Greg. What exactly are you trying to say?
I did not know that. Yeah, so at least at this point, Batman still has a relatively recognizable costume. Yes. From the last movie, it's black and, yes, it has nipples on it. As we discussed in Forever, there were already nipples on the costume in that movie, but it's fairly recognizable to the comics, right? And to the previous movies. And Robin has, I'll give him credit on this. The Robin costume, perhaps because it's basically a Nightwing costume, looks pretty cool in this movie. I think they did a good job with it. Again, outside of unnecessary bodily details on a suit,
Yeah, I could probably agree with that. The problem is it's still Chris O'Donnell inside the suit, so
right.
The largest flaw can't be fixed here.
I would be fine with him playing an older Dick Grayson, like. When we had this debate in Batman Forever. I was not as low on O'Donnell as you were.
Once again, one good Chris O'Donnell movie. One.
That's a harsh statement, sir.
Look at
that! Look at that
statement.
Look at Mr. Freeze getting the advantage on Batman, freezing him down below.
This version of the Freeze suit must give him like super strength or something because he just threw that one dude like straight up into.
And
the air.
That was a pretty large fella, about a size 15, I think.
Yeah, he was a yes, sir. He was a big girl.
Well, this looks horrible.
Yeah, this is pretty rough. God. You want to talk about a '60s homage? This definitely looks like some of the old footage of Adam West and Burt Ward just walking up the side of a building,
which
was essentially the camera turned on its side.
Good Lord. Not good. Oh, there goes Mr. Freeze doing whatever the hell it is he's doing.
What exactly? Ah, yes, he's got wings. I forgot about that.
That's what it would have looked like if they had done the Vulture in a Spider-Man movie in the 90s.
That's true. That's a great point. It would have looked really, really bad. It's still kind of shocking that it didn't wind up looking terrible in 2017. So, you know, what can you do?
I was just hanging around, Robin says.
Because
he was hanging outside of the thing.
A laser gun. This is just happened to have a heat laser on hand.
Get your bat heat laser. I have just such the thing. We have to blow up this rocket before it turns Gotham into a crater. Now what? Call a taxi?
See, oh God, I forgot about this.
Robin delivering lines like this works. Batman delivering lines like this doesn't work.
No,
unless you have Adam West doing it.
And they don't. They don't have it.
And they don't. Oh, Lord. Why did that just happen? Why did that just happen?
Oh, that was bad.
Oh, my gosh. That looks horrible. Horrible. Yeah.
So for those of you not watching the film along with us, Batman and Robin are now surfing back to, or skyboarding back to the ground on doors from this rocket ship that Freeze blew up.
They're literally surfing through the sky as Robin catches the loose diamond and Batman corrals Mr. Freeze. I cannot describe to you guys that are listening and you girls that are listening how bad this looks. I mean, it's some of the worst looking special effects you'll ever see.
And
in your life.
I don't remember this bugging me as a kid.
No, I don't either. When I saw it in the movie theater, I don't remember this standing out to me at all. It was probably cutting edge at the time.
Right.
There are certain things that don't hold up well, and it makes it stand out when you see a movie like Terminator 2 that holds up.
These crates are just very conveniently placed, Well,
remember, there was that situation in Batman Forever, too. There were some very conveniently placed landing spots for the dynamic duo.
Right. I'm not entirely sure where they are or what they're attempting to do at this point.
I don't... There's snow. There's, I guess artificial snow being blown in from various directions.
35 doors that look exactly the same. They're just running through.
Yeah.
These giant, round bank vault looking doors.
Robin, no.
Whoop.
Granny, don't.
Can we just leave him like this the rest of the film? Can we just leave him there? Let him die?
But then they won't have their back-breaking sex when they get back to the Batcave.
Their back-breaking sex. Oh, listen to you. Why does Mr. Freeze have a car with spikes on the front of it?
Well, I don't know. What do you do? Chase the villain or save the boy? Ha ha! Lots of ha's from Arnold in this movie.
That's why this day is mine. This is awesome.
Titles. What a great villain. That's a villain right there. A villain that's not afraid to just laugh.
So in this land of ice and snow they find themselves in, there's just a hot spring in the middle of it, apparently?
Well, yes, actually. Hammer of the gods. Come from the land of the ice and snow where the midnight sun and the hot springs glow.
Well, there you are. He just drops him in the water.
His laser gun looks like a lightsaber.
He's going to heat up the water with the laser gun. And when you heat things, it turns them red.
His light gun kind of does look like a lightsaber, though, doesn't it? Look at it. Either a lightsaber or a giant suppository. I'm shocked that there was no one-liner there.
Oh, here we go. Oh, here it is.
Okay, first of all, this establishment shot of the building that they're in looks like it's from the He-Man movie from the 80s, Masters of the Universe. I mean, very bad.
I was going to say one of the large-scale models from like the Indiana Jones franchise.
Yeah, that works too. It definitely looks like it's from about 1984 or 85.
Now, see, whereas I have my Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face hatred, I think Greg is gonna have the lion's share of the hatred for this particular performance.
Are you referring to Mr. Swenson?
I'm Mr. Swenson, but also Uma Thurman. You have noted your disdain for this performance on numerous occasions.
Well, the thing about this is there's multiple aspects to this performance that don't work. I don't want to put this on the feet of Uma Thurman. I think Uma Thurman does most likely what she was directed to do. And I think she does what is on the script to the best of her abilities, which primarily is look really hot. I mean, that seems to be the gist of it, right? So, but here's the deal. Okay, Poison Ivy is one of the more complex and interesting villains in the Batman mythos. And there you see John Glover, who played Lionel Luthor.
John
on
Glover,
Smallville.
yes.
Yep.
Playing this guy.
This random guy, yeah. Who would go on to great acclaim as Lionel Luthor on Smallville.
And would go on to serve as the inspiration for broken/woken Matt Hardy's hair.
Yes. Yes. So Venom, helpfully labeled Venom. As they bring in the
not just labeled Venom, it's labeled Venom in everything. Like they transfer it from one container to the other container, and both containers are labeled Venom.
So they bring in this skinny convict. They lay him on the table, and they start pumping him full of this venom. I think it's venom, by the way.
Venom. It seems to be. Yeah, look at that. Says Venom. It must be Venom. Oh god!
And now you're seeing a flubber-like effect.
This is sub Nutty Professor level CGI right here.
as he transitions into Buddy Love before our very eyes,
and for some reason gets giant purple veins that look like stretch marks.
Giant purple veins that look like stretch marks, and green, just a general green hue to his whole body.
This is very odd.
And unlike God, even his costume's odd. And unlike Comics
spikes
Bane,
around the crotch.
Yes, unlike Comics Bane, who uses his venom and becomes enhanced or whatever, this Bane is just constantly enhanced. It appears, and now he's shaking around, and he's incapable of speech. You know how Bane in the comics, for those who know Batman comics, Bane is a cunning strategist and is actually an intellectual match for Batman in many ways. Well, here, not so much, right, Nick?
No, not at all. He kind of plays they get a bodybuilder, Jeep Swenson, to play him. And he just pretty much grunts and speaks monosyllabically about random things and takes orders. He's kind of like, the Hulk, really, in this one. Just dumb, the dumb Hulk.
He literally just says, "Bang!" and then grunts throughout the rest of the film, which to me is the most egregious thing in this movie. Because how do you take a villain, even if there are a lot of people that don't like Bane in the comics, whatever, but at the very least, Bane, as imagined by Chuck Dixon, is a cunning strategist who plotted his entire life to take on the Batman. And here, he's just a nothing thug who is roided out of his mind and can't think properly or speak and becomes a henchman. No, come on. Ridiculous. Pissed me off as a kid, Nick. Like, the way that you were pissed off at Two-Face's portrayal in Forever, I remember leaving this, and that was the one thing that I couldn't stop harping on, was how badly they ruined Bane, because I was so excited for him.
Yeah, it was not good. Not good at all.
Now Poison Ivy. So she's this strong environmentalist kind of person who, even though she's bad, she does evil things. You kind of sympathize
John Glover
with her.
Really went for it right there, man. He
did.
Over
the top.
He was going big. He was going big or going home.
So, look at him. Good Lord. So she's this very complex creature, very complex. She does bad things, but you can kind of empathize with why she does them, even though she goes too far. So here, Poison Ivy becomes this weird, like, obsessed with plants seductress whose whole point is, I don't even know, honestly. Like it, and she goes so far over the top with her performance in a movie filled with it that it's impossible to have any gravitas in any of the scenes, because the voice that she affects as Poison Ivy.
Look how dapper Arnold looked at the time.
Oh, I know. Goodness gracious. I don't remember this at all.
This is a pretty faithful adaptation right here of the Heart of Ice style origin for Mr. Freeze.
Oh, did you catch that line from Bruce?
What did he say?
Here's where everything goes north.
I get it.
So anyway, the voice that Uma affects in this movie is, as best I can describe it, the equivalent of like a stereotypical like 1940s damsel. Is that fair to say, Nick? Kind of a hey there, boys. Is that a knife in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, she's definitely hamming it up, giving it. Again, that's why I think this movie is seeking to be an Adam West homage, because it reminds you of how these seductresses from that time period and from that, that show would talk. It's just it all leads to her ultimate line, and the one lasting, I think, Nick, line from this film that has superseded all others, and I'm going to let you deliver it. No, I'm not. I'm not going to deliver it.
Now, why would you deny it? Our audience has been demanding this. I've gotten letters. I've been at the airport every day this week, and people at the airport are coming up to me saying, "Hey, we heard you're doing Batman and Robin. Is Nick going to do the Uma Thurman Poison Ivy line?" And I said, "No, I don't know. You'll have to ask him. And then just today, Nick, I got to the studio a little bit before you did, and I looked at our mailbag from over the holidays, which was filled up, of course. We had a big, as everybody knows, we get a lot of mail here at the Hard-Traveling Fanboys, and we had a sack full of mail, and I opened up the mail, and do you know that 10 of the letters in that bag were about asking for you to do the Poison Ivy voice?
And I'm still not going to do it because this is your gimmick. This is your line that you love so good. So why?
I'm bequeathing it to you on this occasion.
I don't want it, is what I'm telling you.
You're telling me, as we sit here right now reviewing this shitty movie, that oh my God, that you're not going to not going to give
the AC/DC shorts right there on
young
Bruce Wayne in the Flash.
You're not going to give the people everything you see and everything you don't.
I am not.
Anyway, that's what it all leads to. And so, yeah, it's horrendous. Poison Ivy and Bane. Like, Mr. Freeze, honestly, is whatever. Like, Mr. Freeze at least is entertaining. But Poison Ivy and Bane are just awful in this movie. They're not entertaining. They're not... they don't even appear to be accomplishing what they're out to accomplish because they're not that funny either. Well, I mean, like I said, there are some aspects of her portrayal that work, and there are others that don't.
Yeah. Ooh. She has made quite the return to the screen, though, right here.
Yes, indeed. Oh, well.
Greg, I understand all those things you said about the complexity of Poison Ivy as a character.
Let me revisit my opinion.
And I was too hasty. I'm gonna acknowledge that all of those things are definitely important. But I would argue that when it comes to Poison Ivy, the sex appeal is arguably the most important thing, and at least they got that right.
Nick, I am going to request that we take all my previously expressed opinions about Poison Ivy and strike them from the formal record. Look at how only one of his lenses fogged up. What the hell is with that?
I have no idea.
Now he's dead. He passed away. Oh, here she goes. Woo! It's a jungle in here. I am nature's arm, her spirit, her will.
Are you just going to read her lines?
Yes, it's too fun not to. What a voice. Yeah, nevertheless, what are all these chemicals? What are all these generically colored chemicals?
I think she's just doing things just for the sake of doing them.
Nope, she was about to smash it. But what the subtext is on this scene, she's a big fan
the
of
subtext
beakers.
Is that Bane has just been standing there in that exact pose for the last 6 hours.
Yes.
Oh my God, look at the CGI flames. How bad are they?
Oh, not good.
Man.
Not good. Look, snowy cones.
Oh, here we go. This is one of my favorite scenes. Here we go.
I'm Mr. White Christmas. I'm Mr. Snow.
Oh, look at Arnold in the polar bear slipper. And this is the part that makes no sense. How would Mr. Freeze smoke a cigar? I understand that it's a blue cigar, with the implication being that it's made out of ice, but it still requires fire to light the damn thing.
To light it, yes. So he's wearing, it's Mr. Freeze, for those that aren't watching, wearing a bathrobe, smoking a stogie, while conducting a group of henchmen to sing along with the Snow Miser song.
Is that Vivica A. Fox?
It is Vivica A. Fox, yes.
Huh.
As one of his hench ladies. Now, if what we just described to you doesn't appeal to you at all as a scene, just stop this podcast
just
right now.
Stop the movie, because if you can't find entertainment in the ridiculous things in this, then you're not going to find anything to,
Snow Miser, robed Arnold, cigars, it's all good stuff right here. This is a good scene. Maybe the best scene in the movie. All of Arnold's henchmen are seemingly on the verge of hypothermia, which begs the question, why are they working for this man?
Yes, it's very odd. And now he's got this, I don't even know what this thing is supposed to do. What is the actual plot of this movie again? Oh yeah, he's going to freeze the city if they don't do something for him.
They want to give him billions. He wants billions. He needs billions to complete his research so he can find the cure for his wife.
You
Nora.
would think the pharmaceutical industry would be interested in a cure for such a serious illness like McGregor syndrome. So I wouldn't think funding would be a problem. Right.
Wait. So his wife is suffering from McGregor syndrome as well?
Yes, that's the whole thing. Is because remember at the end of the movie, the immortal line, "Take 2 of these and call me in the morning."
Call me in the morning. We needed a sequel where Arnold Mr. Freeze teams up with Batman and Robin. And they go on an adventure together.
Yeah, here's the thing we have to that's one aspect we haven't really covered. And I think we've seen a glimpse of it, but part of the story of this movie is that Alfred is suffering from a mysterious disease known as McGregor syndrome.
McGregor syndrome.
Which I don't think is a real thing.
Is that a reference to something? I feel like it was a reference to something, and I'm not sure. But
look at Dick just randomly standing up there reading a book in like perfect Shakespearean pose.
yes, and going down the unnecessarily spiraled staircase. Here comes Alfred's unusually attractive niece.
Yeah,
daughter.
I don't understand why. I don't know.
So instead of Barbara Gordon in this movie, we get a what is she? Barbara Pennyworth?
Pennyworth, I guess. No, I don't know.
Is she even Barbara? I don't know.
Yes, her name is Barbara, I think.
But Barbara.
What? Alfred, say her name, damn it.
It's not Barbara Gordon.
No, it is not Barbara Gordon, to our knowledge.
So it's Alicia Silverstone as Barbara.
Barbara
something.
is the daughter of my dear sister Margaret. Okay.
Margaret.
Let's just assume, for the sake of argument, that Margaret kept her maiden name. It's Barbara Pennyworth. That's what we're going with.
Barbara Pennyworth here, a.k.a. Batgirl. She becomes Batgirl. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert for this film from 1998.
And look at Bruce's turtleneck. Look at that thing.
It was the 90s, Greg. It was the style at the time.
So, Alicia Silverstone joins the cast as Batgirl.
Look at Dick Grayson's leather jacket with a jean jacket interior, a jacket that only Triple H could love.
Yes, somewhere in Greenwich, Connecticut, a young Triple H was watching this film and stroking his growing beard. Taking fashion tips. Surprised he never started wearing turtlenecks. So, by the way, about this movie, Nick, have you ever noticed that Batgirl's arc in this movie is essentially the exact same as Robin's in Batman Forever?
It really is. Like, it's kind of the same thing where they just go out and, do stupid things on the streets and then eventually just decide to become a vigilante with no real training or experience whatsoever.
Yes, and they realize the error of their ways of being rebellious earlier on in the film.
Right.
And here's Alicia Silverstone in the least revealing bathrobe of all time.
Yeah, I'm pretty disappointed in this bathrobe. It looks a lot like the bathrobe I'm wearing right now, actually, and I'm not a fan of it.
It looks like Al Borland's bathrobe.
It's all plaid and stuff. If you're going to have Alicia Silverstone in this movie and put her in a bathrobe, I think there are better ways to go about it.
Wilfred! Alfred's brother, Wilfred. Oh, God. This movie is a gift that gives occasionally.
It's very odd what's going on here.
So I mentioned earlier before the God, Alfred's getting a little handsy there.
This is quickly becoming one of those taboo pornos.
I know, the old man and the young girl. Look at the look on Alfred's face. He even looked at her ass.
He did. He kind of gave her the once over.
Oh, good Lord. And now we see why her robe was so revealing, because underneath, ladies and gentlemen, she's wearing a motorcycle outfit. As she's doing exactly what Robin did in the last movie and stealing a motorcycle.
No, Robin stole the Batmobile in the last film.
Oh, that's right, he did. He stole the Batmobile. She's doing something totally different, stealing a motorcycle. So, we talked about the all-star cast in this movie, and it really is. It's a hitter's row of 1997 celebrities. We've got, George Clooney comes in as Batman, and this is his first turn as the Dark Knight, filling in for Val Kilmer, as we mentioned earlier. We got Chris O'Donnell back from Batman Forever. We've got Alicia Silverstone, arguably at the height of her fame at this point.
Yes.
Clueless had come out a few years before.
Clooney was also in the midst of his ER run, so...
Yes, Clooney was a rising star at this time. Clooney was on the biggest show on TV at the time, ER, one of the biggest shows on TV at the time. He was starting to get a lot of movie work with stuff like Out of Sight and things like that, pre-Ocean's 11, and most importantly, pre-Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And we bring in Alicia Silverstone at the height of her powers. Of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger's in the movie, and this is kind of at the tail end of Arnold's stardom. Like his star power was starting to slip in the last couple of years. Eraser was probably his last peak run movie in my consideration as an Arnold fan, and that was still starting to tail end down. So he's starting to wind down, but he's still a huge star. Uma Thurman's a star on the rise. I mean, this is a mega cast here.
Yeah, it really is. You say, I mean, you pretty much laid it out perfectly. All these guys, all these different members of this cast are kind of at the peak of their popularity. I mean, maybe not the peak as far as Clooney goes, but all of them enjoying massive surges in popularity, and it really is a star-studded cast. It just illustrates how foolish it was to have all of this talent and give them this material.
Yeah, and if you think about it, Nick, Alicia Silverstone never recovered from this movie. Chris O'Donnell never recovered from this movie,
and that's probably a good thing. For Chris
the only actor who really the two actors that survived it and survived it well were Clooney and Thurman. They went on to big success later on. Obviously, it's testament to their selections following this film, but. Clooney dodged a bullet with this one because this really could have derailed him, and it didn't. But nonetheless, it's certainly is that what is her name? Elle McPherson?
Yes,
is that her?
It is.
As Brucey's girlfriend, and here's an undercover Poison Ivy, aka Pamela Isley, or if you're a fan of the show Gotham, Ivy Pepper.
Oh no, she would be like 75 years old by this point, given how Poison Ivy is rapidly aging on that show.
That aging Poison Ivy would have been recast 3 or 4 times. So, nevertheless, here we are with Bruce and his girlfriend. I guess things didn't work out with him and Dr. Chase Meridian.
Yeah, I guess not. I mean, he just seems to have really bad romantic luck, whether it was Vicky Vale or Selena Kyle, and now Dr. Chase Meridian. Also, his secret exposed to 3 different girlfriends, and none of them sticking around. So, pretty long list of liabilities out there for old Bruce in this universe.
Yeah, luckily there's a lot of trustworthy people
in
the Schumacher and Burton universe, because I'd have probably spilled the beans if I had a nasty breakup with Bruce Wayne. But
how does this lady just walk up during a major press event and have this forum to speak?
That's how it works, Nick. I work in the public relations field, as you know, and this is pretty much how it works at every press conference.
And there's Gossip Gertie, and I believe she's actually played by the widow of Bob Kane.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
I believe that to be the case. Anyway.
I wonder if he tricked her into their marriage contract.
Now, Greg, come on. Bill Finger has started to get the respect he deserves. Can't we just let bygones be bygones?
It was an innocent question, Nick. An innocent question about Bob Kane and his history of contractual ties with other people. That's all it was. Innocent.
Yes, Gossip Gertie was played by Elizabeth Sanders, the wife of Bob Kane.
Why isn't her name Elizabeth Kane?
I don't know that, Greg. Apparently he couldn't trick her into taking his name.
Oh, do you think that when Aaron Rodgers was a young child, he learned his trickster ways from
Bob Kane? Possibly. Oh, look at Arnold eating the cake.
Oh my God! I'm gonna imagine this, even though it's not, as being an homage to Commando. Remember when Matrix and Matrix's daughter were feeding each other at the table? Jenny, when they were eating ice cream. Jenny.
And
they're eating ice cream.
He contemplates brutally murdering her
for just a split second as she slams it into his face.
Oh, poor Frosty. Opts not to.
Oh my, who is that? That's his wife?
Yes, this is Nora Freeze in this continuity.
Guarantee you Mr. Freeze wouldn't be sleeping with a housekeeper. Whew.
Oh, man. We are showing our asses here on this one.
Hey, it's the first show of the new year. We might be a little rusty, folks. We've been out of the studio for a few weeks. You heard it. We've been hitting our release dates, but we've made some of these recordings in advance. So this is us after a multi-week break. We're a little in the weeds right now.
And go ahead and forewarning you, next week, either I will not want to do a damn show, and thus we'll mail it in, or my voice will be completely gone and will be largely incapable of doing a show. So expect a similar effort next week.
And the same applies to me in reverse. So it's going to be. I would say next week will be one of our more unique episodes.
It should be.
And if you've known anything about our show and our love of they're just getting ready for the Usos entrance from a few years ago.
What in the hell is going on?
Anyway, if you know anything about our show's history and our love,
did you see the jacket?
I did see the jacket. And our love of Jim Ross's podcast. When we say unique, it's generally code word for terrible.
Not very good.
So just look forward to a unique show next week.
There's Commissioner Gordon getting to do something for once.
Nick, am I out of my gourd here or off my gourd or whatever the damn expression? What is the damn expression? Off my gourd? Out of my gourd? I don't know. Or did the ears on the bat costume just get longer?
And perhaps they're expandable and retractable. Why would she need to come in a gorilla costume? This makes no sense, Greg.
Why are there people in gorilla costumes at all?
Why are they auctioning off women?
Why is J. Jonah Jameson bidding on a woman's services?
It is J. Jonah Jameson. My God. J. Jonah Jameson likes that magnolia, though.
Mm-hmm.
And here's this gorilla costume. I don't get it. I don't understand this entire
anything
sequence
that's happening right now. Why is the gorilla doing a seductive dance? Are these rich people attracted to gorillas?
Maybe they are.
But hey, that's their right.
Why is the gorilla covered in what appears to be mounds of pubic hair?
Oh, gross.
This is really weird.
Gross, Nick.
This is just... Why is the gorilla purple?
She's wearing the same things around her eyes that Charlotte wore last year. Remember? Charlotte Flair. Remember the weird glitter she'd wear around her eyes at all times?
She did overdo that for a time, and now here's...
Yeah, agreed. I'm glad she's not doing it now. Now look at... You can tell that they're breathing in the pheromones because you're literally seeing the pheromones go into people's nostrils.
Yes, they take off. Oh, there we go. Look at Chris O'Donnell really selling it. He is just...
Okay, now I can get behind this part.
He is just the worst, Greg. He really is. Why would she need to wear the gorilla costume?
It makes the seduction more effective.
To me it would make the seduction less effective.
Well, that's you're right. But it's setting up a contrast because when you see something as not at all sexually appealing as a giant gorilla costume, and then it changes into Uma Thurman, it makes her seem even more attractive.
Why are there men in loincloths?
Why is she walking on their backs?
I feel like Joel Schumacher just came up with this entire scene in the midst of some sort of sexually charged fever dream.
And you know what's even weirder, Nick, is I'm pretty sure this was the Macho King Randy Savage's entrance at WrestleMania 7.
I don't know. I just don't know, Greg.
Poison ivy. Oohs and ahs. Oh.
Now, wouldn't they think that Poison Ivy sounds like a pretty, nefarious name for somebody who just randomly popped up?
Now, in fairness, how did the Green Lanterns not know that a guy named Sinestro was going to turn out to be evil?
Okay, but Sinestro doesn't mean anything. Poison Ivy is literally the name of a plant that will damage you if you touch it.
Maybe she just had a coincidental name. Like Ivy Pepper.
Here's lots of innuendos and entendres and what have you.
As a former former friend of mine and I suppose contemporary of yours once called them double entourages.
What?
Well, a certain individual who we've referred to on occasions as G.K. Chesterton.
How is he a contemporary of mine?
Well, you were around when he was around.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, he came in the trop office and said there needed to be paragraphs and whatnot. Anyway,
yes, that's like saying that, you know. God, I don't even know. I'm like, that's like saying
the bad American Express card.
That's like saying Crazy Bob was a contemporary of mine, even though I had like one conversation with him.
Crazy Bob. I feel like Crazy Bob and you had a very close relationship, given the amount of time you spent talking to him.
You're a sumbitch, Greg.
No, Garrett used to say double entourage instead of double entendre for some reason. Probably because he was a moron, but I can't back that 100%. Oh, that we just totally did not give the credit that it deserves to the American Express scene, right?
We did not.
Or was it a MasterCard? I don't even know. Never leave the cave without it.
I have no idea, Greg. I don't even know what we're doing at this point.
Have we gotten to the part where he says this is why Superman works alone, or was that in Batman Forever? I can't even remember.
I think that was in Batman Forever.
Never leave the cave without it. My God. Look, there's super strength Mr. Freeze again, throwing people around. Ooh, and Poison Ivy's smitten.
Smitten. She sure is, Greg.
She is absolutely smitten with this. Wow, what agility by Freeze. Plant girl, vine lady, hand over the diamond garden gal, or I'll turn you into mulch. It's good stuff, man.
Yeah, pretty much every time Arnold is on screen, the movie is really entertaining, and pretty much every time he isn't, it's when it starts to lull a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there are some positive aspects about Poison Ivy, but I think the problem with this one, more than anything else, is that the actual Batman and Robin aspects just aren't all that interesting.
They're not good. It's all bad, but it's like Arnold is the only one that is capable of turning the camp up enough to make it entertaining.
Right, which I mean that's the
point. Action scenes are not good either, by the way. We haven't really talked about them. We're watching them right now. This is really bad action. Including that stupid scene where Batman punched through a circle thing and says good night and the guy falls over. Here's Mr. Freeze's it looks like a children's toy, doesn't it?
That's the thing is, like, I feel like there are large sections of this movie that are pretty much only designed to sell toys, all these crazy vehicles and gadgets they have, and the various kooky costumes they wind up busting out near the end of the film.
Do you know what it's like, Nick? Do you remember all the Batman the Animated Series action figures that had all these weird costumes that never appeared in the show?
Yes, I had something like Electric Batman or whatever. It was like a silver grid or something that never was on the show.
I had Arctic Survival Batman.
Yeah, it had the white costume.
Yep, the white costume.
Yep.
But anyway, so I feel like Schumacher or somebody just went through a Toys R Us or a KB Toys at the time and just looked at all those action figures and said, we've got to get these in the film.
There he is.
Bane has arrived. And there's my God, that giant statue of the naked man in the middle of Gotham.
How would anyone even build that? That is like larger than most buildings.
I'm pretty sure that confirms the existence of the Justice Society in this universe, because it would have taken the combined efforts of Mr. Terrific and the entire Justice Society to build that thing.
That is just absolutely ridiculous.
Well, what is even happening here? What is this?
Who knows?
There's a complex chase down this naked man statue in the middle of Gotham.
Joel Schumacher is dead set on getting as many naked men in this movie as he possibly can. Which I understand he's counterbalancing it with scantily clad women, but the point remains.
There's a lot of just scantily clad people.
Did Bruce just tell Dick to pull out?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Well,
disengage.
There you are. Oh, God, how bad does that look?
Bad.
I just don't get it, Greg.
What about Robin going, ah!
No!
It seems that in your anger, you made a shitty movie.
Oh, he got the Batmobile. He zapped it.
Oh, but Batman ejected. He pulled out.
He pulled out. Now what? Now the Batmobile just goes over there and sits there.
So, if you can't tell by our very
he did
random,
it. He has captured Mr. Freeze, who is lying motionless as if he's been put into a coma.
No, we've seen in their previous interactions in this movie, we've seen Mr. Freeze be able to physically hold his own with Batman, right?
Right, we have. But that's
and they choose. Schumacher chooses not to even show us Batman beating him and apprehending him, but it just happens off camera. Bruce says all Robin could think about was Poison Ivy, even though he himself was thinking about Poison Ivy. And it's Batman and Robin, not Robin and Batman.
Oh,
so
it's Adam. Never mind.
They're having a lover's quarrel here.
They really.
This is, and now this is their version of the split, I guess. Here it comes. No, it didn't happen. I keep waiting for that Superman line because the more I think about it, the more I think it is in this movie. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was in the last one.
I'm pretty sure it was in Batman and or Batman Forever. But
McGregor syndrome.
Here we go. We're talking about McGregor syndrome. What is it? What does it do? No one really knows.
Right here, Alfred has done what we used to refer to as burning information onto a compact disc.
Yes, it used to be that you would take a disc and put it into the disk drive of your computer, and you would copy information onto this disc. Now, why would you do that? I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. We just did it a lot.
At the time of this film in 1997, this was cutting edge technology.
It really was.
Most of us, at least in my neck of the woods, we didn't have any idea what the hell all that stuff was. But by George, it looked cool. Now, if you were Tommy and Tommy Boy, you might say, why don't you just file all your files in a filing cabinet like a normal person? But no, you have to be a rebel and use a computer. But unfortunately, we're not reviewing Tommy Boy. We're reviewing a much, much, much worse film, Batman and Robin by Joel Schumacher.
And here's Michael Gough giving a very earnest performance in a movie that does not deserve it and doesn't really want it, given the tone that it's seeking to.
It doesn't fit at all.
Strike.
What about these weird flashback scenes?
They are very odd. I'm just sad he's not wearing the AC/DC shorts in that one.
I'm not entirely convinced that was a flashback. I think that was just a random old man and child that were standing outside the window of Wayne Manor.
Well, then how did they make it go from nighttime to daytime?
I don't know, but things move quickly in Gotham, Nick. It's a bustling city.
That they do.
It's a city that never sleeps.
It doesn't. Well,
Alicia Silverstone docking her motorcycle. So let's go through the performances here before we wrap things up. George Clooney is Batman. It's weird because you would think...
And of course she's a judo expert who beats up Dick Grayson in their first encounter.
Naturally. London's kind of rough, So, yeah, so...
Now, the one thing she didn't do was deliver a vicious judo chop to him. And I always love to get the perspective from our good friend Jeremy Reynolds on the effectiveness of the judo chop.
Yes, our friend Jeremy studied judo for years and talked often about the effectiveness of the judo chop technique.
Yes.
And how one of the first things that you learn in judo is how to chop.
Yes. It's a very... Apparently it's a pretty big deal in the judo community.
Indeed. Many have suggested that the reason that Ronda Rousey lost her last 2 fights in the UFC, she got away from her judo roots, and rather than throws, people were saying she should have focused on chops.
Interesting.
But nonetheless,
they literally have them in a refrigerator. I mean, it says like Electro Deluxe on it.
It's good.
This is remarkable. Just remarkable. Worthy of remark.
George Clooney played Batman in this movie, as we talked about earlier.
He did.
And you would think on paper, okay, when I think about it on paper, George Clooney should be a perfect Batman. Okay, yeah, he's a little small, but whatever. He should be perfect. At least he should be a perfect Bruce Wayne, right?
Chilling sound of your doom. Yeah, I agree
but
with
he's
that.
not.
And it's hard to say because, like I said, the problem is the material for Batman and Robin themselves in this movie is so bad. There's practically nothing for Bruce or Dick to do out of costume. And so I feel like George Clooney was okay, but, let me rephrase. I think he gave a decent enough performance with atrocious material, and thus it all adds up to a subpar version of the character.
Right. Yeah, it's very unfortunate because it wastes what could have been a great performance if they had gone with a serious Batman movie. Mm-hmm. And I just don't... Clooney can do comedy, but I just don't think this was the right fit. This wasn't the time. Maybe if he had never done this movie, we might have gotten George Clooney years later as Batman.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's one of those things that I think might have worked better later in his career than it did here, when he had a few more movies under his belt and brought a little bit more of a grizzled edge to the character that he developed rather than this kind of more fresh-faced version.
Because George Clooney is the closest thing in real life to a real-life Bruce Wayne, I think. I feel like, anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah. By the way, that was Jesse the Body Ventura playing one of those guards, the prison guards. Yes, it was.
Wow, didn't know that. Here is another example of all these gangs in Gotham wearing neon and like glow-in-the-dark paint and weird, bizarre shit that no actual human being would ever wear. But, it's a Joel Schumacher film, so you got to have this kind of crap in it.
Bane's distorted colors are very off-putting. And his neon green tubing and whatnot. Why is he wearing neon?
His veins look like my grandmother's veins. It's very disturbing at this point.
Yes, and he's got neon tubes coming out of him, and he's got the chest plate of the Nuclear Man from Superman 4.
Yes.
So yeah, all of this is very bad. But yeah, I have to say, in the end, ultimately, Clooney is the worst Batman for me. And that's not his fault?
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about the theatrical ones, yeah, I think that's... he and Kilmer are close, but I would probably give Kilmer the slight nod and say...
Kilmer, we talked about this in the last film. I thought when Kilmer got a chance to be serious in that film, he was very, very good. He just didn't get the chance enough.
Right.
And Clooney probably could have been, too. It's not his fault. It's just how it worked out, man.
And it's crazy. I kind of feel like maybe Kilmer would have done better with this more comedic material than Clooney did. You might have been better off swapping them. Having Clooney in forever and Kilmer in this one, you might have gotten better portrayals, but I don't know.
Regardless, it doesn't work out. Then you got Arnold as Mr. Freeze. We've talked about him enough already. He's the star of this show. He's the one reason to watch this movie, in our opinions, I think. Yes.
He's outstanding.
Uma Thurman does what she can with this portrayal. She's certainly got certain aspects
of magic beans.
Of Poison Ivy
what the hell is this?
Magic beans, yes. Look at the growth there. And she's very good at portraying the seductress side of Poison Ivy. So, I mean, I can give her a pass because she does what she can with this weird story that they're trying to tell.
It's one of those things. I actually own the Batman anthology set on Blu-ray that has all the Burton Schumacher films in it, and each one comes with multiple documentaries, and one of them on here is a documentary about Batman and Robin, of course, and it has Schumacher, and he's talking about, making the film, and then, of course, the reception of the film, and he's kind of apologizing for the debacle it turned out to be, and he's like, he actually says the one person I feel bad for in the whole thing, more than anybody else, was Uma Thurman, because I thought she gave just a remarkable, outstanding performance that everybody crapped on because the movie got torn to shreds. So apparently Schumacher was very pleased with the Uma Thurman portrayal in this.
Yes, I mean she chews the scenery. I mean she does it. She does that, and I think to that degree she does what she can. She's dynamic and charismatic, like Arnold is, not to the same degree, but she does what she can with a really bad role. Chris O'Donnell.
Yeah, fuck him.
Now listen. We vehemently disagreed about him on Forever. I thought he was pretty good in Forever. You thought he sucked. I can't defend him in this one. I think he's clearly sleepwalking through this movie, and there's just not much to his performance. Not good. Alicia Silverstone essentially plays Alicia Silverstone in the movie.
The best thing about Alicia Silverstone being in this movie is that she's here and she takes screen time away from Chris O'Donnell.
Yeah, she's not. I mean, there's no getting around it. As much as we all, as boys, had crushes on Alicia Silverstone, or at least my group did, my generation did, wasn't the best actress in the world, and she doesn't have a good role here to portray, and she doesn't bring anything eccentric or exciting to the role. So, not good.
Remember watching that movie, The Crush, when you were like a kid or a teenager back then?
Shit, yes.
yeah. Just remember that.
Yep. Yeah, I certainly do.
Yeah.
That Carrie Elway's one hot piece of ace.
Carrie Elways. Why is his name pronounced Elways?
But which reminds me, NFL Quarterback Club 97. There was a play on there called L Way to Go.
Dick was just using one of the Star Wars grids that we always see in the Star Wars movies with like the lines and a piece of glass,
Oh yeah.
Anyway, she wasn't great. But she was, who else? Is there anybody else?
Jeep Swenson.
Atrocious.
Who was a pro wrestler as well.
Was that The Wall, brother?
No, Jeep Swenson, I believe, portrayed the Ultimate Solution, brother.
Yes, the Ultimate Solution. What in the world are these games that Joel Schumacher thinks exists?
I think that one gang was in Suicide Squad.
It's like he wanted to make the Warriors, It's just...
Yeah. Coolio!
Good Lord, it's Coolio.
I forgot he was in this.
Look at the hair. The hair is just...
It truly was. Do you think that this was the point when Coolio lost the ability to sing about Gangsta's Paradise?
Possibly. Look at this guy with the forever long hair.
Yeah, again, this looks like the set of Suicide Squad.
And there's a kid in the gang, because of course there is.
This is not good.
If Dick was trying to conceal his secret identity, wouldn't he not want to ride around with a motorcycle helmet with a Robin airbrushed onto it?
People in Gotham aren't very quick on the uptick.
Yeah, they don't put two and two together very well.
I mean, I assume that Vicky Vale has written about 12 articles at this point explicitly stating that Bruce Wayne is Batman.
You got to remember,
people still don't know.
You got to remember, in this incarnation, Vicky Vale is a photojournalist, not a writer. She needed Alexander Knox to write for her.
And Alexander Knox was no longer interested after she rebuked his advances.
And after he went on to change his name to Arliss and become a famous...
to Arliss with $2
yes,
and guest star on WCW Nitro in '99,
and have a show that seemingly ran for like 20 years, even though I didn't know
no one watched.
Even though I didn't know a single person that watched it.
I don't know anyone that's ever seen an episode of it.
I've never. It looked like it's hard to make a show about that has sports as a major part of it, and yet manage to make it look completely boring to me.
I don't even remember why what he did in WCW. I just remember WCW promoting Arliss, and they weren't promoting him as like whatever that Robert Wool here of TV's Arliss. They were promoting him as the character Arliss.
These racers are just really bad drivers. They probably should not be driving motorcycles at high speeds if they can't avoid like the most basic of obstacles.
Well, in their defense, it looks like this is a giant course from Excite Bike on the NES with random ramps and hills and bumps everywhere.
I was going to say more like a Tony Hawk course from like the old PS2 days, because this has that very skateboardy kind of feel to it to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Joel Schumacher giving his best impression of what he thinks the kids are into these days.
with the skateboard and the surfing and the whatnot. This movie has not been as good as a Puddin' Pop. I can say that. But what
I'm going to stay away from that one.
Woo! We've been through the actors. I don't think there's anyone else in the cast worth mentioning. Alfred Goh, he's good. He's
Michael Goh,
good.
yeah.
Michael Goh, yeah. Sorry, Alfred Michael, who gives a flaming mo. Nonetheless, he was good.
Why is the fire green, Greg?
There's no one else of note in the film. I don't think, unless there's more celebrity cameos like Coolio that I've forgotten.
Why is the fire green, Greg?
Why is the city neon?
Who knows at this point? Who knows?
Why are there jagged steel pipes sticking out of an unfinished bridge? I don't know.
Yeah, this is...
But nevertheless, the plot of this film is essentially Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze team up to try to take down Gotham, and Batman, Robin, and Batgirl team up to stop them.
And then they do.
And they do. And Mr. Freeze turns babyface in the end.
Oh, yeah. Alfred is dying of McGregor syndrome. Mr. Freeze has been working on a cure. And instead of saving his wife, he gives the cure to Alfred. Oh, wait a minute. Doesn't Poison Ivy murder his wife in this one?
Maybe. I don't remember.
Pulls her plug, turns her power off or whatever.
All that matters is that the company's future is secure.
That's good. That's good. You're getting close.
I'm getting closer every time. So I'm trying to think of a way to summarize it. We've done a bad job of describing this movie.
We really have. We've been more sucked into this one than we usually are with the off the pages. There's so much being thrown at the screen at all times that
exactly. And we didn't. In full disclosure, we didn't rewatch this one before doing this.
We did not,
because we've seen it so many times, and so a lot of this stuff I didn't remember being in the movie. So it's because you remember everything you see and everything you don't, and you and you remember stuff like freeze or cool party or chill, but you don't remember stuff like Bruce and Dick having a heart-to-heart in the Batcave or in Wayne Manor.
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, now we got a scene where it's trying to be serious for some reason and failing, and whatever.
Totally doesn't fit. Oh my gosh, horrible special effects here.
Look at that Arkham
Scenery.
Asylum.
Yep.
And what is he trying to do here? Oh, he's making a sculpture of his wife? No?
Yeah, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, this is kind of like the deal from Heart of Ice, actually. So that's a nice little nod.
And now we're going to see what happens to the body, Gorilla.
Yeah, it's a nice little nod. I kind of actually like that homage. Pretty cool on the part of the producers to throw that in there.
Mm-hmm. And see, Arnold could have been a good Mr. Freeze.
He really could have. And he was for this version of the character.
See, I think Jesse the Body on the left.
I think sure is. You're right. But I think what you're saying is he could have been a better. He could have also pulled off the more serious version of the character. And they just let this random person dressed in green robes walk directly into the thing. Actually, she's probably using her pheromones on him, so I'll give that one a pass.
No.
What the hell is this? This is Gary Oldman in Bram Stoker's Dracula hair on Uma Thurman here. Also,
you can't give them that. I'm not going to let you give them that pass, Nick, because earlier in the film, it was established that the pheromones are visible. You see the pheromones go into people's nostrils.
Are we the only ones
who
who see the pheromones?
I don't know, but they go in. They visibly go into the nostrils, and they did just a second later. So they just let her in there. They just let her in, and now she's kissing me against the rules, Gorilla.
Oh, and there goes Jesse the Body. Why does she have red tips on her gloves? Oh, that's
Riddler's outfit and Two-Face's jacket.
Yes, that was what it appeared to be. Is there anything else we can see here?
There's a clock.
Yes,
a la the Clock King.
Clock King, perhaps. Oh, man. That's bad.
Well, I, my most unabominable snowman. Yeah, this is... it's so weird, too, because Poison Ivy, they almost obsessively gave her an accurate costume. As, like, to the point that it looked corny.
Right.
But with Bane, they just went so wildly different from the comics. In terms of his appearance.
They got the mask right. That's about the only thing they got right.
Yeah. Yep. And now Bane is awkwardly, goofily running into the facility with Mr. Freeze's
with a shopping cart,
armored suit.
Why would they have a shopping cart at Arkham Asylum?
Why is any of this happening? Why did this movie happen?
Now they're all comically bouncing up against the door and squeezing to look in.
Nick, what? I can't look it up right now due to doing this on my iPhone 7 Plus. But why?
Is there a question?
What was the money that this movie made? What was the box office take of this?
Well, let's hit the old Google machine right here and just let's look that up there.
We'll find out. Compared to the budget, particularly
all right, Batman and Robin. Budget of $125 million. Box office returns of $238.2 million.
Probably not enough to offset the cost, given marketing, because this had a big marketing push.
Earned $42,872,000 in its opening weekend in North America, but went on to gross only $107 million total in North America and $130.9 million internationally, coming to a worldwide total of $238.2 million.
Bane with his best line of the movie, "Grr."
During the filming of Batman and Robin, Warner Brothers was impressed with the dailies, prompting them to immediately hire Joel Schumacher to return as director for a fifth film.
Where have we heard that before, Nick?
A projected mid-1999 release date was announced, titled Batman Unchained. The script had Scarecrow as the main villain. Through the use of his fear toxin, he was to resurrect the Joker as a hallucination in Batman's mind. Harley Quinn also appeared as a supporting character, written as the Joker's daughter.
What's this? I also just understand that in a pre-screening in the winter of 1996 into 97, Warner Brothers executives gave the film a standing ovation.
A standing ovation? Oh, man.
Isn't it amazing how some things never change, Nick? Did that not sound like the development of a modern DC film?
Oh, God. Apparently Schumacher had approached Nicolas Cage for the role of the Scarecrow. I kind of want to see this now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Look at Bane in disguise. with one of those old gangster hats and an overcoat, but still wearing his luchador mask.
Yes. This Commissioner Gordon really puts two and two together.
Oh. Anyway, just oh God. So, in typical Warner Brothers fashion, they're so excited about the dailies of this film that they greenlight a sequel, bring back the director to do another film, and are all geared up to go. Get the script written and everything. Then the movie flops critically and commercially, and they don't make a Batman movie for 8 years.
Now, to be fair, there were numerous, films in development in between here and there. It wasn't like the studio just swore off Batman altogether. It just took them a while to find an approach that they were really comfortable with.
True.
After this,
yes, the Schumacher Batman follow-up film, which was originally going to be just like this. Then they were going to make it serious. Schumacher said they were going to bring it back and try to make it darker again. And then that kind of fell on the wayside. Then there was talk of bringing Tim Burton back, which fell through. Then there were a couple of different treatments going around of that version of the Scarecrow movie. And then
the Aronofsky Year One adaptation.
The
Batman Beyond rumor.
Batman Beyond, yes. Batman Beyond with Bruce Timm and Paul Dini involved.
Batman versus Superman.
Yep.
Way back
Batman.
then.
Yes, Batman versus Superman was going to happen as a thing back in those days, which would have been different than what we later got. And all of these different things were talked about, were in discussion. I think oddly, the Batman Beyond movie may have been the closest to actually reaching production, but I could be wrong on that. It may have been Batman vs. Superman that was closest to reaching production, but one of them very nearly happened. I know that. The Aronofsky and Frank Miller Year One movie almost happened too, actually, come to think of it.
Yeah, that was going to be the one. They were actually hired. Like, they were being paid by Warner Brothers to actually be in development on that film, and it didn't happen for whatever reason. Just
fell through. Which, if you ever read Frank Miller interviews from that time about what his plans were for that movie, maybe a good thing that it didn't happen.
Yes, maybe a good thing. Yes, I would tend to agree.
So yeah, it's crazy. I remember the Batman versus Superman rumors to the point that there was even a Batman versus Superman poster in
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend. Yes. So ultimately, it worked out. We waited a long, long time, and we finally got the great Batman movie that we've been needing with Batman Begins. So that worked out. But man, this movie really did do what seemed at the time to be irreparable harm, and not just to Batman, but to the perception of comic book movies, I think.
Yeah, I would agree
because we had, prior to this, yes, Batman Forever, to our eyes in retrospect, was a disaster, but it did good business at the time. It was well respected, and we still had the legacy of the Burton Batman movies, all of the Richard Donner and the Richard Lester Superman movies. We had some other pop-ups here and there.
Blade was either right before this or right after this.
Right after this, yeah. Blade was right after this. But the perception of comic book films was colored by this for a while. It took X-Men in 2000.
I was about to say, X-Men, it kind of stayed this way for about 2 years, but I kind of feel like X-Men in 2000 was the one that kind of started to turn things around.
X-Men started to turn it around, and then Raimi's Spider-Man came along, and I think it probably
then X2
needed...
right there, all back to back to back.
And I think we probably needed that time in between this and the Nolan Batman to really reboot the idea of Batman, to get this out of people's heads and get them to come in with a fresh slate.
Agreed.
Yeah, so, gosh, what else is there to say, Nick?
Not too much. I will say this, my controversial opinion that I've had about this film for a long time is that everybody talks about it like it's the worst thing ever made, and while it is bad, don't get me wrong, I maintain that
Case in point, everything that's happening on the screen right now. Oh my God, this scene is awful.
It's bad. I still don't think it's as bad as Batman Forever. I think Batman Forever, to me, is far and away the worst of the Batman films that's been made to date. I think it's a film that doesn't know what it wants to be itself, and this one at least knows it wants to be a goofy, over-the-top homage to the 1960s Adam West television show. And there are moments in this film where it succeeds at doing that, whereas it's hard for me to call out any moments in Forever where it seemingly, hits the mark that it's aiming for. So a lot of bad in both of them, but I'm gonna give the nod to this one, as I always have.
There are moments in this though where it's trying to be serious, like McGregor syndrome, Alfred dying.
Very few and far between,
But I will say this: this is actually worse now as I'm watching it than I remembered it being. Like, I remember the good stuff from this movie. I remember Arnold and Uma Thurman doing the
and see. I think this is one
reveal.
of those things where because we didn't watch it beforehand. If you had actually gotten to hear the Arnold voices and the Uma portrayal, you might come off a little higher on it. But just seeing the goofy visuals, I'm kind of like you. I'm not enjoying it as much as I typically do.
It's much worse than I remembered it being, and so it's hard. I don't know. I might actually. I understand where you're coming from. I do, because I agree with you. Arnold is entertaining and Uma is entertaining. But, oh my God, it's just so bad. Like, the thing is, I've always said this. There are higher highs in Batman Forever than there are in Batman and Robin. But there are lower lows in Batman Forever than there are in Batman and Robin. And there is a more consistent level of suck in Batman Forever. Like, in this, there's at least there's consistent suck, I should say, in this, but the suck that's there is entertaining suck. And in Batman Forever, there are stretches of just mind-numbing boredom and not being interesting at all. So, which is happening right here in this movie, to be fair. But yes, Freeze, back to elevate things. But yeah, gosh, it's hard to say, man. Because I think Batman Forever did succeed a few times in its attempts to be serious with primarily with Bruce and even with Dick's reaction to his parents' death. But this movie succeeds in its comedy much more than Forever did for me. And that's at least something. So I tend to agree with you that Forever is a little bit worse than Anne Robin. But certainly both these films represent the bottom of the barrel of Batman, basically. Just a version of Batman that is neither funny enough to succeed at camp, nor is it in any way successful on a serious or dramatic level. So it's the worst version of Batman, and we've seen it in the comics. We've seen takes on Batman that are like this, that try to go for this kind of an approach, and it just doesn't work because they don't know how to pull it off. We've talked before, Nick. Batman is a character that can lend itself to humor, but it has to be done It has to be done right. It has to be done very carefully. The '60s show does it brilliantly. Satirically. This just is a poor imitation of that, honestly.
Mostly agreed.
Now, with all that being said, why Arnold Schwarzenegger has not had a prominent comedic comic book film role at this point in the modern superhero movement is beyond me.
We have got to get, with Marvel getting the rights back, a period piece comedy Fantastic Four with Arnold as Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom, yep. If only so that I can hear, send in the Doom bots! Send them in!
As Nick can attest, I would say repeatedly when we would play Ultimate Alliance in college.
Yes, that's true.
Send in the Doom bots! Send them in now! Do it! Hello, Reed Richards. I see you can stretch really far. Well, I hope you can stretch far enough for my fist, because I'm going to ram it into your stomach and break your goddamn spine. Ah!
No, it's stage 1 of McGregor's.
Oh, that's the worst stage.
Yes, the first stage is the worst.
So it gets better from there. Oh, God. For a split second, I thought Bruce Wayne was wearing a leather jacket over a tuxedo. But sadly, that's not the case. No. AKA Triple H's formal attire.
Yes.
Oh. All right, folks. We're going to bring this to a merciful end. If you're interested in streaming Batman and Robin, and why wouldn't you be after the way we've described it? You can find it on Netflix. You can watch it on DVD or Blu-ray, or you can continue watching it now if you've been watching it with us, which I hope you have, or this conversation is going to make even less sense than it already does. So, Nick, any closing thoughts on Batman and Robin, McGregor syndrome, or anything that we've talked about to this point?
No, not at all.
Thank God. All right. We're ending this, and we are going to catch you on the flip side of a commercial break. You'll hear about all the other podcasts here at Place to Be Nation, Place to Be Nation Pop, all of our good friends here in the comics world. And when we come back, we are going to have an abbreviated reading and watching and a rundown.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey, pro wrestling announcer Kevin Kelly here. I want to make sure you are all subscribed to all the great feeds here at Place to Be Nation. It's really easy to do. Just head to iTunes or your preferred podcatcher app today and search and subscribe to the Place to Be Nation wrestling feed, which of course includes the full archives of the Kevin Kelly Show, the Place to Be Nation pod feed, and the Pro Wrestling Only feed. Subscribe, listen, and then rate us and leave feedback today. And be sure to give Justin your true thoughts. I mean, don't hold back. After all, he is kind of a jerk. Just listen to Scott.
Place to Be Nation's JT Rosero and Chad Campbell here. We want to let you know that we have a ton of great podcasts available to you on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and PlaceToBeNation.com, and we offer those to you on 3 great feeds. On the Place to Be Nation wrestling feed, we bring you the Mothership, the original Place to Be podcast, as well as Main Event, Lucha Afterground, and our monthly pay-per-view reaction shows, as well as the Our Vantage Point podcast and Jeff Learns Wrestling. In addition to these full-length shows, we also deliver quick-hit pod blasts on topics old and new.
Over on the Pro Wrestling Only feed, we dive deep inside the wrestling business with a stacked army of experts leading the way. The feed features potpourri shows such as This Week in Wrestling, Greetings from Allentown, Psychology is Dead, Puro Potpourri, Stacy and Elliot's Bogus Journey, and the Military Industrial Suplex. We also have shows that focus intently on certain topics like Letters from Center Stage, Space City, and NWA Classics on Demand Adventure, Through the Years, Strong Style History, Strong Style Story, and Mount Olympus. Plus, the feed has the full archives of legendary shows like Titans of Wrestling, Where the Big Boys Play, Letters from Kayfabe, and much more. And on our popular Place to Be Nation Pop podcast feed, we offer such great shows as the Glenn Butler Podcast Hour Spectacular, Rank and File, PTBN Dadcast, Go Home in a Box, NBA Team, and Lucha Undead, as well as a veritable podcast heaven for comics fans with the Hard-Traveling Fanboys, Sellers Points, Todd Weber's Conversation, Geek and Sassy, and Imaginary Stories podcasts.
You can find all of these current shows plus archives of our past podcasts, including The Kevin Kelly Show, as well by subscribing to all of our feeds on iTunes, and while there, be sure to rate and leave feedback as well. All of these shows, plus others, available on PlaceToBeNation.com, where we cover pro wrestling, sports, movies, comics, plus in-depth stretch projects and more. Be sure to support our site by using PlaceToBeNation.com/Amazon when shopping online, and download our free PTB Vintage Vault Refresh ebooks via the links on our site. We also want to thank our friends at Bonehead's Wing Bar in West Warwick, Rhode Island, and Fall River, Massachusetts, TheHistoryOfWrestling.com, and Scott Keats' blog of Doom. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr as well. PlaceToBeNation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Never leave the cave without it.
Everything freezes. No matter what they tell you, Mr. Bane, it is the size of your gun that counts. Gun!
This is why Superman works alone.
Sorry, my vines have a crush on you. I am nature's arm. Curses! I'll help you grab your rocks.
Is your thumb the only part of you that's green?
Well, if it's ice, the Iceman wants. Alfred?
My garden needs tending. And then Gotham will be mine for the greening.
Poison Ivy, why would she help Freeze escape?
Well, she's definitely evil. No sign of the snowman.
Maybe he melted.
No. He's just hibernating.
Well, I don't suppose they have fax machines on elephants.
Well, I don't suppose they have fax machines on elephants.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the second half, the closing stretch of the Hard-Traveling Fanboys.
More like the closing 10th, because this is going to be a really abbreviated second half.
Absolutely. You know, the good thing about the holidays for us, Nick, is we had a break. We had a little vacation, which gave us plenty of time to not read comics.
To not read any. We were all preoccupied with family and football and various other things, and I didn't read any comics. Greg read one, though, I believe.
I did, and that's why it's going to be our leadoff here on a segment we like to call Reading and Watching.
Reading and watching. What you been reading and watching? What have you been reading and watching? Tell us.
Did we watch anything?
No, I didn't watch it. Oh, I take that back. I rewatched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 with my parental units, and it was excellent. Just as good as I remembered it being in the theater.
I rewatched both Deadpool and Logan, and both of those were just as good as I remember them being. So, some rewatches there from us, but nothing new. So, on the reading front, I got nothing. So, Greg, let's talk about your book that you read.
I read Batman Annual number 2 by Tom King and 2 artists. And Nick helped me out here. One was the classic Gotham Central artist, Michael Lark. And the other was Lee Weeks. That's right. I remember now. The pencils by Lee Weeks and on most of the issue, and Michael Lark on the last several pages. So this issue Nick talked about in our last podcast was excellent. One of the very best issues of Tom King's entire Batman run. It takes you through the timeline, if you will, of the Bruce Wayne and Selina Kyle relationship as it may be. It's very clear that this is a what could be type of thing instead of what is, and it's a look into their future as a couple through various stages of from first meeting one another through growing into their relationship, getting married, and growing old together, and indeed. Till Death Do Us Part plays a big part in this story. I don't want to spoil the developments here for those who haven't read it. I'm sure it'll be collected in a trade in a few months, but it was one of the more emotionally affecting Batman stories I've read in quite some time, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, it was remarkable, especially, the young Bruce and Selina stuff was great, don't get me wrong, but the closing stuff was just amazing.
Yeah.
I knew it was something that would hit with you just as big as it hit with me.
Yeah, the physical and mental deterioration shown by the artists in this book in particular is incredible. And the writing is great. Don't get me wrong. The writing is great in this. But the artwork is sensational throughout. So Lee Weeks and Michael Lark just kill it in this, and as does Tom King, the writer. So yeah, for a run that I have admittedly been lukewarm on at times in Tom King's Batman, when he hits one out of the park, man, he clears the stadium. He knocks it into the atmosphere, maybe even the ionosphere,
brother.
So that's my reading, and that's all we got for reading and watching. And you know what that means, Nick?
What does that mean, Greg?
I'm glad you asked. That means it's time for, you guessed it, Frank Stallone. And a segment we like to call The Rundown.
Welcome to The Rundown, where we talk some comic news. Welcome to The Rundown, where we talk about movies too.
What a Conrad Thompson-esque pause from Greg right there. That was good.
And The rundown, of course, is our weekly look at the news.
Oh God! Speaking of that, Greg, I just remembered that'll be another podcast that'll have certainly a unique dynamic next week.
Oh my gosh, Conrad and Tony. I hope this doesn't create a civil war in what happened when.
It would be terrible if it did.
It really would. And I don't know if you saw it, Nick, but Chris Jericho recently penned an article for the Players Tribune,
mm-hmm.
and had some praise for our friend and our well, not our loyal listener, but we're a loyal listener of his, Tony Schiavone,
mm-hmm.
about his call at Slamboree 98. Said it was one of the great calls in the history of wrestling. So there you have it. And that's unrelated to this, because this is our segment where we talk about the news and notes in the comic book world. It's a segment we call the Rundown. We got a pretty short one this week, not a lot of big news and notes on the comic book landscape. Maybe the biggest news in this news cycle, though, is the wave of cancellations at Marvel Comics.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, this is going to be, if I'm not mistaken, Nick, an all Marvel edition of the Rundown.
Yeah, we got it was over the holidays, so not as much news out in the comic world, so we just got a few little stories we're going to hit you with from the world of Marvel, although I think the last one, Greg, is kind of tangentially DC related.
Yes. So, 6 Marvel Comics titles have been canceled in recent weeks.
Mm-hmm.
These are Jean Grey,
mm-hmm.
Unbelievable Gwenpool, Generation X, Hawkeye, Luke Cage, and Iceman.
And I know some of these cancellations were received very positively by other contributors here to the Place to Be Nation Pop Network.
Indeed. Some of these titles were headed for a certain trash disposal device that happens to find itself on fire a lot.
A lot of times it finds itself ablaze.
But I think one of the shocks to me was Hawkeye, which always seems to be such a well-regarded title, circling the cancellation pew.
Yeah, I think they had refocused the book to be a Kate Bishop book in recent months, and so
mm-hmm.
maybe it wasn't selling as well as it possibly would. But it's one of those things
which kind of sucks, because Kate Bishop is awesome.
Kate Bishop's a great character. But I would be highly surprised if Kate and Clint didn't have roles to play in another book here pretty soon.
Another surprise, I think, is Luke Cage, given he's coming off of a Netflix television series.
That's the thing, though. Luke Cage comics in the modern context have just traditionally not sold very well, and I don't know why that is. I don't know what the reason for that is, but and it wasn't like, I think this Luke Cage book got like 16 issues. It wasn't like it was 6-7 issues and gone. It's just disappointing when this happens, and I hope it's something that Marvel is aware of, that all these books that were canceled were all pretty much either female led or minority led, and that's a little bit concerning.
Yeah, and we're not going to get into all this in this episode, but I just think we've talked about this for years now, and I think the comics industry needs to do a strong, and particularly the big two, that needs to do a strong self-evaluation and realize the diminishing returns of the last 20, 30 years, and realize that maybe the issue isn't diversity or characters or things like that. Maybe the issue is focusing so much on a niche audience and not evolving with times enough in terms of how people consume media now, in terms of how people purchase their entertainment now, in terms of how people experience new entertainment versus how it was when we were kids. It's a much different world now, and we're not here to get into that for this episode. It'll be too long of a discussion, but I really think that, and maybe this will spur it, but I think there needs to be some really serious long-term thinking in the comics industry about where things are headed, and what needs to be done to ensure that quality books can continue to be published. And yes, as Tom Brevoort points out, this has happened before in comics where titles have gone through mass cancellations. But I'm looking at it from a more macro perspective of the fact that the top-selling book in comics today sells about 100,000 copies a month, and the top-selling comic 30, 40, 50 years ago sold significantly more than that. So, there's got to be ways to get around this, to change the model, and we'll talk about that in the future.
Absolutely.
But let's move on to something else, because Brian Michael Bendis, actually, I'm switching things up.
That's fine. Yeah.
Brian Michael Bendis, as you all know, is going to work at DC Comics as an exclusive there, and so his run at Marvel is coming to an end. But his time has been kind of delayed by his recent illness in the month of December. Nevertheless, Brian Michael Bendis tweeted out that his final issue of Invincible Iron Man will be number 600, and it will be his last Marvel comic for the time being. I'm not going to say ever, but for the time being. He'll leave Defenders with February's number 10. We'll leave Spider-Man with number 240, and we'll finish Spider-Man 2, number 5, as planned. The Punisher End of Days miniseries will not happen, as it turns out, or at least with him as the writer. So, yeah, so he's comparing that to sort of Twilight of the Superheroes, which is the famous Alan Moore pitch that never got made in the late 80s. So we I don't know much about his Iron Man run, but certainly Brian Bendis' final Marvel issue is a big deal. What do you make of this news story, Nick?
It's good to know that he was able to write a conclusion for the stories that he had in mind. He mentions how he's kind of, I would imagine for Defenders and Jessica Jones and Spider and Miles Morales, characters that he had more of a hand in shaping the modern interpretations of, those will probably read more like final statements on those characters, whereas the Iron Man departure will probably be more of a, like he says, a setup for the next adventure. But cool to see that he's getting to go out on his own terms, and I for one, will be reading all of those, even though I'll probably wait for the Iron Man book on Marvel Unlimited. But the other three are on my pull list, and very excited to see how he wraps things up.
Indeed. And very curious. Speaking of wrapping things up, it feels like the end of an era in a lot of ways at Marvel. Because a good friend of the show, former guest here on the Hard-Traveling Fanboys, and a Place to Be Nation contributor and friend, Ben Morse, has announced that he is leaving Marvel. Now, Ben was a longtime staffer at Marvel who worked his way up over the years, started at Wizard Magazine, moved on to Marvel, and eventually became Marvel Digital Media's editorial director. Ben announced that he is leaving that position to become a visiting professor of new media at UNLV over in Las Vegas, moving across the country with his wife and young baby. And just wanted to mention that so that we can wish Ben all the best. He's a great guy. Yep. He's been a good long time guest to have on podcasts to talk about Marvel, to talk about kind of the interesting happenings and goings on there. And hopefully things will go well for him and he'll do well. He's entered the academia, the world of academia that I know a little bit about now in my current job. So hopefully he can survive with a little more of his sanity intact than I have to this point.
Yeah, in all seriousness, though, best of luck to him. He's helped us out on the show a few times and always been a source of a great source of information. So best of luck to Ben and his family in their future endeavors.
Absolutely. Yes. And I feel like one of us has to adopt a Johnny Ace voice now. Which actually one of us may have that next week on the show.
Yeah. That's possible.
So, And speaking of wishing well in their future endeavors, we'd like to wish all of you, our listeners, well as you move forward in this first week of 2018. Hope you had a great holidays. If it wasn't, put it behind you and look forward to a great 2018. Here's hoping it's better than 2017. And we hope you keep listening to the show. Contact us on social media, on Twitter. I'm at gphillips8652. He's at Nick Duke 87. Join the Place to Be Nation Comics Facebook page. Just go to Facebook, open it up on your browser, on your smartphone. Go to the search bar, type in Place to Be Nation Comics, and you'll see us on there. Join the group. We have a lot of great discussions going on right now about Marvel Unlimited, conversations about classic DC storylines. A lot of talk going on right now. So join the conversation. And you can also email us, Greg P. at placetobenation.com, Nick D. at placetobenation.com. Let us know what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, what you would like to hear us talk about on this show. If you have any suggestions for things for us to review, if you'd like to send us something to review, we'd be happy to do that. Just contact us through the aforementioned social media. So, hope you guys enjoy. What do we have coming the people's way next week, Nick?
Well, we don't really know because our schedule right now is kind of up in the air, but we'll bring you some sort of high-quality content that we will determine when we're good and well ready to.
That's right. And let's be honest, Nick, we told them earlier that it probably won't be high-quality content.
Yeah, it'll probably be a pretty mailed-in show next week, so just tune
give us
in
about,
for one of those shows
Yeah.
That's just meant to keep the streak going more than to really be high quality.
Give us about 2 weeks to be back to our regular level of low quality.
Right.
And then, you know, who knows what may be happening early in February for Nick. So, you know, we'll see what happens in the next few weeks with regards to that.
Oh, God, don't start that shit again.
Well, I'm just saying the possibility exists that there could be multiple mailed-in shows going forward.
Shut up, Greg.
We're taking it one step at a time.
Shut up, Greg.
As for me, I'm just going to continue making ice sculptures and planting my magic beans and injecting myself with chemicals labeled helpfully exactly what the chemical is.
I'd like to plant Uma Thurman's magic bean.
I like to plant Mr. Freeze's magic bean.
Mm-hmm.
And his icicle.
Let's end this show on that note then.
All right. Next week, folks. Catch you then.
Hard-Traveling Fanboys. 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 Hard-Traveling Fanboys.